and just made up some data here, and I have the color codes here and some measured values for the resistors here. And I also have my 3, 6, and 12 volts along with some currents for the data. And what I'm going to show you here is how to make your graph for the data with the independent variable on the x-axis and the dependent variable on the y-axis. Independent variable being resistance and dependent variable being current. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. I'm going to just use the measured values for my resistors, and I'm going to highlight the 3, 6, and 12 volts, and I'm going to highlight all of the resistance data. Then I'm going to click on charts. I'm going to choose XY scatter and scatter plot. Now, if you take a look, I'm going to move this down a little bit so you can see that it actually graphed it correctly for me because of the way that I set up my numbers in the first place. I kept the words voltage and measured and color code and any units out of the way, and I just put numbers into each cell. So if you set up your data in this same fashion, highlight it the way that I showed, it will go ahead and graph this for you correctly. Now what you would need to do is you would need to put in a best fit line and then label your axes. So to label everything, you would open the toolbox, and when you do that, under chart options here where it says title, you could title this and you could say current through a resistor, or whatever you want to title it. It's up to you. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my horizontal axis, which is resistance in ohms, and my vertical axis, which is current in amps or milliamps, depending on what you graphed. Some of you may have milliamps in your data table, which is fine. You just want to make sure that you note that on your graph. Now, the other thing that I would need in this graph is I would need to put in a best fit line. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on one piece of data. You can see it highlights the data. And then I'm going to come up. Oh, it might be outside your screen, but if you come right up here, see where I'm pointing, and you choose chart, then you can add a trend line. And it's a line, so you can see it already just plopped it in. And then under options, you could put the equation. It's always good to have the equation of the line there. I'm going to move this over, this equation, next to the resistor that it is. Oh boy, it doesn't want to go where I want it to go. There we go. So I'll just line those up on the bottom. And actually, you don't really need the equation of the line for each of these here, but you will need it for the next graph that we do. So I just wanted to show you how to do that. You can click here, chart, add trend line, display the equation. Okay, we'll line that up underneath like so, and so on. So that is how you would make the first graph, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this graph over. Sit that over there on the side. And I'm going to show you how to make the voltage and current graph that we need for finding the resistance using the slope of the line. So basically what we're saying is we fed 3, 6, or 12 volts into the system, and we came up with this certain current that we read off of the ammeter. And from those two pieces of data, you should be able to tell how much resistance was in the circuit. And so we'll do that by using the slope of that graph. So we're going to do a voltage current graph. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and just move over here out of the way, and then click a scatter plot, and it's just going to give you some random data because it doesn't know what to do because you haven't chosen any data, which is fine because I'm going to delete all of this and enter it in myself. So once you get this graph, just click on it so that you have a blank graph, and then you're going to go back into this toolbox. And inside the toolbox here, you're going to go to Chart Data, Edit. And you're going to click on Edit. And I'm going to remove all of these. And I'm going to add each resistor in. So I'm going to call this one the 110 ohm resistor. And what I want on the x-axis for this 100 ohm resistor is current. So then this 110 resistor, I'm going to go over here, find my data for current, and I'm going to highlight it across and let go. And then what I want for my Y is the voltage, 3612. Then I'm going to add my 220 ohm resistor. My X value for the 220, if I go over here, is that selection of data. And the Y, again, will be 3, 6, and 12, like so. Then I'm going to add my 330 ohm resistor. My X value are these numbers here. And my Y value is 3, 6, and 12, etc. So you want to do that for all 6 resistors. Just keep going. And then what I want is I want to click on this and go back to this chart up here and click it again to get rid of that connect the dots. We never want these points connected like a connect the dots because we're going to put in a best fit line. I'm going to get rid of all those. And then I'm going to do what I just did on the last chart, which is choose a piece of data, go right up here to where it says chart, add trend line, and I need to display the equation this time so that I can see if indeed the slope of the line is close to what the resistance was. So the one that I just chose here was for the green triangles, and I think it was. I would have to go back and look. I think it was, oh no, I lied. It's for the 330. Sorry, it's for the green triangles. It says right here, linear 330, see? And so you can see that the slope of the line, if I look at my equation right here, the slope of that line is 245.9. So according to my voltage and current data, my resistance is a little bit off from what I had measured, because you can see the measured resistance for that particular one was 345. Now again, I made up this data, so of course I would expected that slope to be way off, but you can see that's where you will find your slope. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope. Let's try another one. I'll choose the blue, which is 110, is what it's supposed to be. I go up to chart, add trend line, display the equation, and OK. And I can look and see. I'm going to get rid of this one because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to look and see that the slope of this line was 204. And that would be what my resistance is showing for that particular voltage and current data. Now the other thing, of course, you're going to need to do on this graph is put in your title, your horizontal axis, your vertical axis, and make sure that that's all labeled on the sides and on the bottom.